My name is Frank Kern. I am a salesman, for lack of any other better, more glamorous description, and I sell things on the internet. I got into internet marketing because I got lucky. I was a door-to-door credit card machine salesman. I got tired of the direct, in-person, constant, unrelenting rejection. So I went to the internet in 1999 to figure out how to sell credit card machines without actually having to talk to somebody. Somehow, I don't remember how I'd pulled this off, but I'd somehow managed to actually sell a few credit card machines over the internet, and I don't recall how. I think I did it by just finding like websites and contacting, like literally just calling the people that had the websites and saying, hey, you know, you should let me process your credit card. So 400 million phone calls later, some dude said yes. You know, maybe 10 guys said yes or something. And one of the customers I had was a guy in Indiana, and I could see their volume, their transactional volume every month, you know. And this dude was doing about $10,000 a month, which to me was $1 billion. So I called him. I said, man, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm selling this CD-ROM with reports on it. And I said, well, how are you selling? He goes, I'm sending spam. And I said, will you show me how to do that? And he said, yeah, I will. And every one of these things you sell, I'll give you a little cut of the money. So he showed me how to send spam, which, you know, from my limited experience, requires whatever degree is right before the rocket science level degree. You've got to have that level of intelligence to send out spam. So I was horrible at it, but it wasn't for lack of effort, you know. But that showed me the power of, if you have a list of people and they actually want to hear from you, and you have something that they want in the first place, then you really can make some money, you know. So it was the beginning, I guess, the little seedling there that sort of started it all. There's the internet lifestyle, this mythical internet lifestyle, you know, is perceived as, oh yeah, you know, you get up, you do nothing, money comes in, and it's fantastic, which that happens. But if you do that for more than a couple months, the internet lifestyle is over. So it's a blessing and a curse. You don't have to do anything. You know what I mean? There's no one over your, you know, no one's cracking the whip, so to speak, saying get to work, let's have at it. But other than your customers, of course, I mean, you do have to deliver on the promises. That's always very inconvenient. You know, that gets in the way of the mythological internet lifestyle. But there's no one pushing you. So if you live this internet lifestyle too long, you got no more internet lifestyle and you have to go to work. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it, which probably most people will tell you who are really into this, is the internet lifestyle really means you're working all the time. You know, I'm eating dinner with the family, and like this half of the brain is on the conversation, this half of the brain is on what are we going to do tomorrow? You know, what are these numbers? What's this opt-in rate percentage looking like? How can we get this up? What's this client's business doing? How can I get this guy more money? You know, how can we help develop this guy a back-end product? Well, that's, you know, I mean, it never ends. It's on all the time, you know. And that's fun. I wouldn't have that any other way, but the notion of, you know, working a couple hours a day and getting rich is, I don't know anyone who does it because you just get so hooked on it. You know, I mean, there are probably some people that make money and don't really do anything, but I don't know why anyone would want to stop. It's just too much fun, you know. It's like the Stones. I mean, they're a great band. They make great music. Why would they stop playing? They're still playing. They don't have to, but they do, you know. And if they did stop, then they probably wouldn't be any good anymore, you know. So here's my definition of the economy. I think person A gives person B some money, and in return, person B gives person A something of equal or greater value than the money received. That is the economy. If you just take that and you multiply that by 1 billion, that's the economy, right? In my uneducated opinion. With that said, I think it's fine. The trick to it all is to be person B as much as you can on the receiving end of that money. And the trick to being person B is to find something of equal or preferably greater value that you can give to all the person A's out there. And the trick to finding the person A's is just to look online or watch the news or reading magazines and seeing what's being sold. You know, if you say, oh man, people are buying the shit out of the Snuggie, maybe I'll make a super Snuggie, you know, and they're advertising on TV, so I'll advertise on TV and I'll just do a better job. It's not hard, you know. I think the economy's great. I wouldn't change it at all. And I think, you know, we have this currently, you know, the economy's bad or whatever. The economy's not bad. The equation got fucked up. You know, person A was giving person B the money, but person B was giving them a bunch of bullshit. So, of course, the equation's skewed right now. But the money didn't go anywhere. There's still plenty of money. It's not like the aliens came and sucked it up, you know, through their big money vacuum and they're hiding it. Maybe it's in the vault where the economy is. Maybe it's in the basement. You know, they don't even wear loincloths in the basement. The nubiles just sit there and they fan the money like it's a living entity. You know, come on, it's fine. It's an illusion economy. You know, a man wants something, he'll buy it, period. You know, you see the gigantic satellites on the side of the trailer parks. You know, the guy's got a Lexus, but he can't pay child support. Whatever he wants, he's going to buy it. That's going to happen till the end of time. You know, you're a good salesman, you control the economy, period. And if you can be a good salesman, you can get in front of a lot of people and you can control a lot of the economy. You know, and that's the name of the game. And that's all there is to it. Everything else is just guys on TV trying to scare you into watching their shows so they can sell advertising crafted by people like me. That's really the truth, you know. I guess you have to consider someone's definition of success. You know, really, when I first started, my dream was $10,000 a month. If I could just make $10,000 a month, you know, I would make more than my teachers or something. You know what I mean? And I never did. I went from making none to my first real month online was $17,000, and then, you know, it grew pretty substantially after that. But I guess if I were to speak for other people, especially people just getting started, I think that the monetary amount would be whatever it takes to not have to go to work. You know, I think that's probably the common denominator, especially with everybody starting out as well. I'm successful if I don't have to have a job anymore and I can just stay home and sell my wares and services on the interwebs. The keys to being successful online are very, very simple. Actually, there are 2 commandments I have on how to be successful online. The first commandment is thou shalt not fuck around. The second commandment is thou shalt not be a pussy. And I'll explain. And really, I think if you obey these 2 commandments, then you'll be fine. So we'll start with thou shalt not fuck around. Most people spend a lot of time reading forums, you know, buying products and never doing anything. They're fucking around, you know. I'll survey customers in my business. I've surveyed customers in clients' business that are in the same industry, and we'll say, well, how many of you have a website now? You know, and 70% of them say, I have no website, I have no business, I have no product, even though they've bought everything. All right, well, clearly they're fucking around because it says so right in every single thing they bought. Here's how you get a website. And furthermore, if you want to know how to build a website, go to YouTube. You know, so I think that people fuck around because there's no sense of urgency. So I say, well, listen, I want you to imagine this. Imagine that Osama bin Laden had a machine gun pointed at your family and he said, you got 24 hours to build a website that can collect an email address or I'm pulling the fucking trigger. You know, I know they would figure out how to build a website, and they wouldn't go to a forum saying, now, which course should I buy that shows me how to build a website? Is this guy a scam? What kind of website should they build? They go to YouTube or something, type in how to build a website, pick one from one of the 30-something thousand freely available tutorials, and build the damn site. You know, and when the site didn't come out perfect, they'd go back to it, and they'd build, like, let's say the table wasn't looking right, or the font wasn't right. They go back to YouTube or Google and say, how to make font look right. And then, you know, by 20 hours, they'd have the damn thing up, and they'd say, okay, Osama, I got the website. And we go, okay, good, thank you, see you later. And that'd be the problem solved. So they're just fucking around. You know, if you don't fuck around, you'll be successful. Get to work. You know, the second of the commandments is thou shalt not be a pussy is this. They say, well, what if it doesn't work, you know? I'm perfectly willing to go into enormous debt to attend seminar after seminar after seminar and to buy product after product after product and get all of this education, but I'm terrified to spend $100 on a Google AdWords campaign to try to launch a product off the ground, to try to test a market and everything. They're just being pussies. You know, they're afraid of that failure. So if you can accept the truth that you're going to fail about 98% of the time, but the 2% of the time that you don't fail, you're probably going to hit these massive oil wells that can reward you for the rest of your life. You'll be okay. But if you're just going to be a little pussy about everything and not get to work and not get started and get that temporary like crack cocaine high from buying the product that makes you feel like you're doing something, and then that wears off and you buy the next thing. If you're going to do that instead of actually getting to work and doing something, then you're screwed. So the secret to internet success is, get to work, don't fuck around, don't be a pussy. And when you get knocked down, get back up, because you're going to get knocked down, period. It's like talking to a guy who's going to be a boxer. Now listen, with the guy's like, oh, I want to be a champion boxer. I'm not going to get hit, am I? Oh, no, dude, you're going to be fine. You're not going to get hit. The guy gets hit one time. I don't want to be a boxer anymore. Of course, he's never going to make it as a boxer. He's got to know, you're going to get the shit beat out of you, a lot. And then sometimes you're going to win, and when you win, you get to be on TV. It's going to be great. Nike's going to call you, and you can have a boxing shoe or something. Maybe Kern will do the ad campaign for you and tell America that they'll be beautiful if they wear your boxing shoe. It'll sell millions. You're going to be fine, but you're going to get your ass beat a lot. That's the trick to it all. The failures I've encountered. Well, this could be a box set video, we could go on. Well, every business I had before getting online and several online ventures, I ran straight into the ground. So I've never had a job more than like 6 months. Was fired from many. I never had a decent, respectable job. The closest thing to a respectable job I got where I was a manager at a car lot. But that's really just a glorified car salesman. Not to disrespect the car selling profession at all. That's very hard work. The men and women who can do that work their asses off, But failed at that. Did terrible. Had a little used car lot of my own. Ran it straight into the ground. Had a dog fencing business straight into the ground. First, my 2 years spent as a spammer. Spent all the money I had, and was a spammer. So not only did I not really make any money, I was also like one of the most hated species of people on the planet, So the prestige, my family was so proud. This is, what does your son do? Well, he's a spammer. Oh, my goodness. How did he know I had this erectile dysfunction problem? He keeps sending me these Viagra ads. No, that's not him. That's his friends. He's the one with the get-rich-quick ads. Oh, yes, of course. So there was that. My most notorious failure was when I was sued by the Federal Trade Commission for my very first product that I created myself called Instant Internet Empires. And man, I thought I was onto something. But apparently they did not think I was onto something at all, And they said, well, Mr. Kern, this is a pyramid scheme. And I said, what exactly is a pyramid scheme? And they said, well, it looks conspicuously like this program of yours. I said, oh man, what are we going to do? And they said, well, I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to send out this public message that says we have sued you and seized your assets, and then we're going to take all your money. What do you have to say about that? And I said, well, okay. What else are you going to say? I was like, all right, sorry. So that was a pretty significant failure. That was very embarrassing. I wouldn't trade it for anything, though. I learned a lot from that process, and certainly would never want to repeat it. Wouldn't want to go through it again, but wouldn't take it back for all the money in the world. So the biggest reason people fail online is twofold. One, the insidious killer of them all is they don't get started or they don't get back up. So they get paralyzed with fear. Well, what if this doesn't work? So that takes out 90% of them. And then the 9% left over will actually try, and it's not going to work out the first time, and then they never try again. So that's the biggest killer right there. The second biggest killer is people never learn how to sell. Most people cannot sell their way out of a paper bag. They get wrapped up in the technology. They get wrapped up in Twitter or Facebook or something. They'll go buy a tool that gets them like 9 billion Twitter followers, but they never learn how to sell those people anything. So I'd rather be able to sell, 10 guys something than get, 10,000 followers on Twitter or have the flashiest video player or something. If you learn how to sell, you give me a notepad and a pencil, and I'll write a damn sales letter and hand it out on the street corner, and I'll have $10,000 by tomorrow. maybe more. Shit, take that away, give me a telephone. Take the telephone away, give me some shoes, and drop me off in a neighborhood, and give me anything to sell. And God damn it, I will sell it. Might not sell it elegantly, but if you can sell something, you're set forever. If you have that ability, you have to be good. 90% of being able to sell something is being able to put up with the no. If you can just say, no, okay, good, thank you, bye, and then keep going to the next one, you're fine. So inability to sell and just spinelessness really are the two killers. That's what causes the failure for sure. My cousin was like a little brother to me, and he was working as a commercial realtor, and he had finally had enough. I'd been after him. We both lived in Macon, Georgia, and I didn't have anyone to hang out with. Because I'm in my little office all day doing internet work, and I didn't really have to work all the time. And sometimes I wanted to screw off, and everyone else had a job, and I was kind of, I was fucked. So I was like, look, man, you got to get into this. You got to do this internet thing. Just try it out. And he's, no, I'm going to be a respectable person. And I was like, first of all, you're never going to be a respectable person because you're not one. Neither am I. We're not going to fool anybody. You might as well embrace it. So finally, he had enough, and he said, all right, show me what you do. So he came to my office. I'll never forget this, man. And he was like, well, what do? I got this product idea. How do I market it? And I said, well, first of all, you're going about it backwards. It never, ever starts with the product. It always starts with the market. And there's three fundamental, characteristics of a market that you look for. They've got to be irrationally passionate, great in number, and easily reached. And the biggest thing is irrationally passionate. You want people who buy stuff all the time. And I used to have this long, drawn-out process on how to find them, and he really helped me shorten that. So we figured out how to reverse engineer, how to find a market. And it's simple. There's a website called ClickBank that everybody watching this probably knows about. And through some stroke of great fortune for the rest of us, ClickBank has gotten their vendors to agree to be featured in this marketplace, which allows you to sort by category who's selling the most stuff, which is fabulous. And then they'll tell you how many of their sales come from affiliates, which basically lets you almost completely reverse engineer somebody's business, So my tip would be to go to that site, pick a category, anyone you want to, and sort that by the top sellers and see who's selling the most stuff. And then you've got a group of buyers. So you got empirical proven data. If this guy's buying, or if this guy's selling the number one guy in the sports and fitness category, and he's selling a thing on your golf swing, unequivocally that there is a market there for that. And they're buying this particular thing. So all you got to do is go into that market, do a better job of selling, and sell a better product. Shit, you don't even have to sell a better product, really. It's just best if you do. So, in all honesty, you just have to do a better job of marketing and selling, and then you can exceed his numbers, which are right there clearly visible for everyone to see. So, that's the biggest tip. You can reverse engineer anything. Never, ever, ever try to reinvent the wheel. Don't be the pioneer with the arrows in your back. Go use all this unbelievable data that the internet gives us, reverse engineer a competitor, and just go in there and take over. That's what he did. He did it in the hypnosis market. Had a product created. I remember this first, he did his launch. He'd run ads on Google AdWords and stuff. Built, just like we talked about earlier with the launch, offered to give things away to get the opt-in list. Finally does the launch. He had a little tiny list, of like 3,000 people. Finally does the launch. He goes, all right, I'm going to launch this thing to my 3,000 person list. Let's sit here and watch it. And I was like, I knew it was going to be kind of anticlimactic with that small of a group of people. I said, let's go to lunch, and we'll come back and we'll see what happens. So we go to lunch to Zaxby's Chicken in Macon, Georgia, on Spring Street, I believe it was. Used to be the Arby's for all of you Georgia people. So we go to lunch there, and old fucker brings his BlackBerry, so he's checking stats. And while we're at lunch, he made $300. And this was like unbelievable, He's like, holy crap, I made $300. By the end of the day, he'd made $800, and I think the first week he made a couple grand. Within the first 48 months, he made over $2.8 million. Yeah, and it was the same formula. And he sold hypnosis, and he sold software, not get rich quick stuff, nothing, and it's all based on that. You find the market first. You find that hungry market. You find out what they want, and then you give it to them. You give it to them better than the other guy. And if you can do that, you're done. You're unstoppable.